our instruments. And first thing is welcome to Claire's beautiful, wonderful house. Claire and Elliot, where are you? It's really, you're so generous. Not everybody wants to have their home filled with 44 people, even if they're nice people. So it's really, really generous, and the home is just beautiful. Perfect for the occasion. The second person I want to thank is Maureen, and she Maureen, my dear friend of 23 years, as she has pointed out to someone in an email, and we have we really enjoyed working together the last 6 or 8 weeks, and this is the very first time Maureen has ever chaired an event for Hadassah or anyone else in this type of endeavor, and she's done a fabulous, fabulous job. And I want to say that I know practically everyone here, and some of you I know really, really well. And I want to say, though, everyone here is very special to me personally. Of course, I do want to thank my co-musician, Marty, because without Marty, I wouldn't be here today. And Marty is, I think, the most busy person I know in this room. And I know everyone in this room is extremely busy. So that says a lot. And yet he's made the time for Hadassah. Of course, my family, some of my family, not my son David, who's at school and couldn't be here, but 2 of my children and my husband, my mom is here, and that's really very heartwarming to me. Now, I do want to say also thank you to Evie and Lauren, who will speak to you later, but they are the co-presidents of our wonderful chapter, and they really set the stage for everything to happen. And there are other people in the audience who are officers and do a lot of work too, but rather than name names and leave anyone out, I do just want to say that for me, being part of Hadassah started out as a social thing. I knew some people who I liked, and I came to some of the events, and as I did that, I got to know more about the organization. And of course, I always knew there was a hospital associated with Hadassah, but now I know that there's a youth village and there's a university, which is like a community college for many immigrants there. And then I also did find out and wanted to share with you that when Hadassah was founded 100 years ago, it really seemed to have started as a study group for intelligent women who wanted to learn more about Zionism and what eventually would become the State of Israel. And so women got together to learn and grow. And so I think that the fact that I personally was able to grow as a musician, through Hadassah is part of the theme of the organization. And we do have a piece that Marty picked out, a Judah Maccabee piece, we'll explain it later, that does also have a Jewish theme. But I thought the idea of a woman's taking herself seriously and others taking her seriously, whether it's music or some other endeavor, I thought that that was part of Hadassah's mission. And then I wanted to just share with you that Hadassah is a fabulous hospital. We all know there's cutting edge research there and everything. But there are some special things about it that make me happy to support that particular hospital. And one of the things I found out was reading this book that I cannot recommend enough, called A Tale of Love and Darkness by Amos Oz. And in this incredible book, he talks about the siege of Jerusalem between 1947 and 1948, like right after the state was declared, and then there was the battle and everything, and he talks about the convoy of Hadassah doctors and some other really famous people, a linguist, a psychologist, the director of the Hadassah Medical Organization, other physicians, and they were in a convoy of 77 people that was supposedly being guaranteed safe passage by the British government, and the British soldiers said, yes, it's safe, come on through, and the landmine exploded. The convoy burned for 6 hours. The British military didn't come, even though they were being called to come to the scene. And there was no battle, there were no arms, there were just medical supplies and doctors in these buses. And after 6 hours, they were all dead. And after that, the Irgun, really stepped it up, and they said, well, we're done with the British. And so anyway, so when you see that Hadassah Hospital has really been involved and still is involved in the state of Israel, not just as a hospital, but as a symbol of everything that Israel stands for in terms of our Judaism. I mean, it stands for a lot of different things, but Hadassah has a very important role in that political arena as well as the medical one. So, with that, we're going to turn to music and on tune, Marty.
Why do we start with George Friedrich Handel? He was German, born in Halle, Saxony, in Germany, and then he moved to Britain. Well, he was one of the good guys, I guess, sort of. But that was hornpipe from the Water Music, and we selected this for two reasons. One, because it was Handel, and two, is in the same key as our next piece. And the next piece is by Beethoven, but it's actually by Handel. And it's a piece called the Chorus from Judaeus Maccabeus, which is an oratorio that Handel wrote, and Beethoven wrote variations on it. And if you're wondering why somebody like Handel would write oratorios with Jewish themes, he wrote countless oratorios. There's Deborah, there's Solomon and Sheba. He just wrote probably as many from the Old Testament as the New Testament, and of course he's best known for the Messiah. But I don't know what his politics were, or whether he was anti-Semitic or not. But he was like a pretty cool guy, I think. generations ago. Aren't you counting? You have to count when you play music. But this is number 9. No, number 11. Number 11. That was actually it's a typical Beethoven because Beethoven was like not, and at times he was very passionate, very beautiful, and at other times he was just bizarre and like just furious, and he would grab fate by the throat is what they would say about Beethoven. So that was an example of it.
Okay, yeah. And now the calm after the storm.
you have something to calm you down again. This is one of Vladimir Horowitz's favorite pieces.
Just an encore.
And
It seems from childhood.
Love that piece, and that's one reason, aside from its beauty itself, but that's one reason why we played it. But it's a great choice, great choice.
Okay, so now we're into Bach.
Bach, a beautiful piece of two-part invention, and now I'm going to do another Bach piece. Bach and Handel were born in the same year, 1785. 1685. Thank you. It was daylight saving time. Mendelssohn revived Bach's music, and believe it, just Bach wrote more than 1,000 pieces of music, and it's like the fountain of music of Western civilization, actually, one of them. And then, but he went out of style after he died. He lived a long life, and then after he died, his music went by the wayside. But young Mendelssohn, at age 20 years old, he performed in the St. Matthew's Passion. And that brought back Bach's music back into style. So it just happened to be on this date, all these years ago. If you wonder why I'm crazy and do things like that, I know things like that. So I have, my main thing is, one of my things is that I have a wedding music group called Romanza Music, and on Facebook I have a page called Romanza Music. And every day I put a classical music trivia quiz on it. So I just gave you the answer today, so you can rush back and answer. Now, on a more serious note, on Wednesday would have been my mother's 99th birthday, and several years ago my brother decided he wanted to get me a cello, and so he was looking into it. My mother finally caught wind of it. She said, "No way, I'm buying it." So this is what she bought. Got it.
About 99%.
Well, she was in her 90s then, but she passed away in 2007. So anyway, so one of the things I wanted to do is to play a song in memory of her and to show my love for her. And she passed on the love of music to me. She played the piano at Nickelodeon's, and she brought music into the home. So this is by Dvorak, and it's called "Songs My Mother Taught Me." I remember him saying that the Jewish contribution to history was, we didn't really leave any monuments, any physical monuments, but the one thing we left was a calendar. So I sort of took him seriously. But I went beyond Judaism in terms of the observance of things. Sorry, but of course I'm Jewish. But today is also the first anniversary of the Japanese earthquake and nuclear disaster. And in commemoration of that, I would like to play this song by Taki, called "Moon Over the Ruined Castle." Sad note, so we decided to add this. Just have to turn the music a little bit because the sun coming in. we're going to be playing Vino Mezzo con Cavalleria Rusticana. This is an opera by Mascagni, and Leonardo was featured in the prize-fighting scenes in Raging Bull. Janet reminded me of it, but I was going to do it anyway. Thank you, Wilma. Good to see you. I see you every now and then.
And thank you, Neil. He's listened to this piece, the Beethoven, 20 million times.
Can you play it?
He's recording it for posterity, so I can't thank him enough. And he bought me my piano in my living room 30 years ago before we ever had a house, so I'll never forget it.